So integrally informed sex therapy is a particular kind of sex therapy, which is a vast field. Those of you that
Yeah.
aren't in the psychotherapy land, sex therapy has blossomed into a number of related and different approaches. And of course, if you're an integrally informed person, they all fit together. That's what integral does. It's a meta theory. Integral psychology is a meta psychology. Integral psychotherapy is a meta psychotherapy, and integral sex therapy is a meta sex therapy.
Hmm.
So, what is integrally informed sex therapy? So, I'm going to define it. Then I'm going to go back on how it happened, how it came up over the last 100 years pretty quickly. Then I'm going to go into the various forms of sex therapy that exist in the world that draw my attention anyway. Then I'm going to talk about integrally informed sex therapy as enacted by Keith, because every integrally informed therapist has their own natural healing style. So their integrally informed therapy of whatever it is going to be their form of it. And then take a little bit about what does it look like as a turquoise meta sex therapy.
Great.
So that's my plan. All right.
Yeah. And I'll throw on an additional layer later on, Keith, of looking at this discussion through the 8 horizons of love that we talked about a few months back.
Yeah, the first and third person in every quadrant, as Corey was just
Yeah.
explaining to me, and it gave me a little rush of dopamine inspired insight. So integrally informed sex therapy is a therapist who has internalized the psychoactive integral system, doing psychotherapy with anybody where the focus is on sexuality. Could be individuals, can be couples, could be a family, could be a group, anything like that. So that's the definition. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's internalized the integral operating system, a therapist who has, doing psychotherapy with somebody on anything to do with their sexuality. Now, sex therapy. Psychology is a very young field. Mathematics and medicine and physics have been around for thousands of years. Okay? Architecture. Psychotherapy, 150 years tops. It's young. And so when psychotherapy started and everybody got excited about it with psychoanalysis in those days, people started doing it. And the cool thing about human beings, it's kind of like the diaspora out of Africa 60,000 years ago. Whatever changed in the human genome that made everybody want to go beyond where they were, which is what happened 60,000 years ago when human beings spread from Africa to every place, to the moon now, maybe to Mars. When that happened in psychoanalysis, people went, wait a minute, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. So Murray Bowen developed family systems. He said, family systems really affect people. And then the family systems people say, yeah, we got to do that. And of course, the heart of the family is a couple. I mean, basically the pair bond and the family, that social structure is at the center of every single human institution and form of government and everything. They're all basically mirrors of that. Okay. And then in the family therapy, people said, well, let's do couples therapy. And people said, let's do child, but then let's do families. But there was a problem in the 40s and 50s and 60s because the United States has been a puritanical, not sex positive culture. Christianity historically is not a very sex positive religion. It's getting a little better now. And so the couples counselors didn't know what to do when their couples started talking about being distressed about sex. So what happened is Masters and Johnson, they created this system where, first of all, they pathologized sex. Okay. So it's not like, you're developmentally needing some help. You got a disorder. And they created disorders for all the kind of problems people can have. So premature ejaculation, you come faster than you want. Inorgasmy, you don't come when you want. Erection, erectile disorder. So, disorder. Okay, fine. But they wanted to help like everybody does. So they got this system where you went to St. Louis and stayed with them for 2 weeks. And they would work with you and take a sex history and do a physical exam, do all this stuff. And they'd help people learn how to have erections, have orgasms, get turned on, that kind of stuff. Well, it wasn't long after that a lot of other people in the field said, well, look, we don't have to go to St. Louis. Why don't we just learn how to do it and make it part of couples counseling? So now integrally informed psychotherapy is psychotherapy where Carl Jung said this. I create a new psychology for every client, he said. Integrally informed psychotherapy creates a new sex therapy for every person that comes in with an issue. And at least the way I do it is people come in, I connect with them, and I kind of open the channel, and then Conscious Keith monitors the channel. And sometimes any one of the systems I just met, aspects of all of them can come in, plus other stuff that I've learned over the years, depending upon who the person is, what the moment is, where I am. I mean, you're affecting everything.
It makes perfect sense, Keith, because when you have two people in relationship with each other, these are two very, very complex cosmic addresses that are in relationship with each other. And so the dynamics, the chemistry, the almost alchemy of the relationship is going to be radically different from one relationship to the next. There's not really easy one size fits all. I mean, there's some universals we can talk about, particularly in the right-hand quadrants that kind of, flow through all couples. But every couple has different levels and lines that are at different stages and different capacities and different interests and proclivities and traumas and attachment styles. And, all of this, I think, culminates into this very, very, very complex thing, this complex, almost organism that we just simply call a relationship. And everyone is distinct and unique from the last.
Yeah, and they're all different at different moments.
I've got my 8 horizons map popped up in the other screen here. And as you're talking, it's just like horizons are lighting up as you go, because these things, when we talk about something like, let's look at this through the quadrants or through the 8 zones or any of these sort of integral analytical tools that we have, that's not to say let's completely draw and quarter and isolate all these factors. All of these factors show up sort of fully formed and intermeshed and interplaying with each other in really, sort of irreducible ways. All right. We can't just talk about one of these quadrants without also talking about all these other quadrants. We can't just talk about one of these horizons without also talking about all of these horizons, because if you change a factor in any of these, it ripples through the rest of the system. These are whole systems. These are representations of our own wholeness. And so all of these different dimensions, facets, aspects fit together in really seamless ways, and they co-arise together. One of the reasons why this particular frame is working so well for me is, you can ask a simple question like, hey, honey, why isn't our sex great? Well, it can come from 8 different areas. Horizon 1, I'm anxious and I'm insecure. Horizon 2, I have a sexual trauma from when I was a kid. Horizon 3, I just don't feel connected to you these days. Horizon 4, because we're always in conflict and I feel resentment because we don't know how to manage that conflict. Horizon 5, because I have something physiological going on with my body that's interrupting the arousal response. Horizon 6, because I'm sitting on the couch all day and getting no cardiovascular exercise whatsoever, or I've got a drug addiction and I can't perform. Horizon 7, because we're not prioritizing making space and time in our relationship to where we can have sex in the first place. Horizon 8, I'm just so stressed out because of money and work and all these external obligations. These are like the 8 most common answers to the question, why does sex suck, that we're gonna get. And what I like about this frame is you can kind of see them simultaneously, and chances are it's not just one of them.
That was
Chances are it's
Corey,
not just one of
that
them.
was beautifully said.